Hey, in this video, I want to talk to you about the signs that you need to watch out for that determine if you have a bad relationship with money and also how to fix it. You know, a lot of times when we're in relationships, I think this has happened to everyone, right? When you're in a bad relationship or what they call a toxic relationship, sometimes you don't really notice it until the tail's end of the relationship, or when you're out of that relationship and you look back and you're like, my goodness, that was toxic, that was negative. And a lot of times it's because now you're able to, number one, have a clear head about the thing. And secondly, because you can compare it to something that's actually healthy. And so that's the same thing with money. You see, a lot of times when we're in it, we don't notice that we have a toxic relationship with money. And what we need is to be able to reconcile that or compare it to something that's actually healthy so we can see, oh my goodness, right? And do an assessment with our current relationship. And here's the thing, you can't break up with money. This concept of money that we have in the modern age is going to be with us more likely than not throughout our lifetime. So you're stuck in this relationship. So it really behooves us to fix it, to really face ourselves and get into the deep shadows. And a lot of times, as we go through improving our financial situation, it's really a personal development experience. It's really a personal journey of inner work and shadow work. And a lot of times when we fix our money situation, we notice that other things in our lives begin to heal as well. So let's go ahead and with that being said, dive right into really identifying what are the key signs of actually having a toxic relationship or a bad relationship with money and how to fix it. So having a bad relationship with money means consistently experiencing these negative emotions, behaviors, and beliefs surrounding financial matters. And this can lead to patterns of stress, poor decision making, and financial instability. A bad relationship with money is often marked by a lack of control. It's marked by fear or an unhealthy attachment to money. And in relationships, it's called codependency. So if we look at money from a relation perspective, if we have an unhealthy attachment, that's a codependency there. See, where we tie our value to money. So there's just a lot in there. And all of this can manifest in various ways. The consequences of a bad relationship with money is first debt accumulation. We end up spending more than we earn or not having a clear financial plan that can really lead to high levels of debt. So the consequences of having a bad relationship or having a toxic relationship with money include debt accumulation. When we spend more than we earn, or we don't have a clear financial plan, that can lead us to high levels of debt. You know, the second consequence of having a bad or toxic relationship with money is a lack of financial security. And that's created by poor savings habits, an over-reliance on credit, or failure to invest. And just being fearful to invest, that can result in a lack of long-term stability. The third is an emotional toll. When we have a toxic relationship with money, it takes its own emotional toll. It creates stress that can lead to anxiety and even different permutations of depression. It creates tension in relationships. And then the fourth consequence of having a toxic relationship with money is missed opportunities. You see, the fear of investing, for example, or poor money management can prevent someone from taking advantage of financial growth opportunities. So now that we understand more intimately what the consequences of having a toxic or bad relationship with money looks like, let's now go through what the signs of a bad relationship are. So we might be living this right now, and it's not a switch. It's not like an on or off switch. It can be varying degrees of these things, right? So let's go into it. So the first is living in fear or anxiety. So when we're constantly worrying about our finances, even when there's no immediate danger of a financial ruin, that indicates an anxious attachment to money. So if you hear yourself or others really speaking in fear of, oh, the economy is not doing so great, or oh, the market is not doing so great, and that can be a fact. Most people that have that fear will argue that, well, I'm just being a pessimist. I'm just saying what I'm hearing in the news. Well, aside from the fact that the news is very biased and they get more views with negativity, and there's also conditioning and programming as a part of the agenda, because you can control people with fear. From a psychological standpoint, when people are in a fear state, they're easier to sway to a certain viewpoint, or to be easier to persuade. And so you have that to contend with. But going back to the point that people may make, so when people say that, you know, there's a bad economy and the market's fluctuating, and oh my goodness, I'm so fearful, this is going to happen, we have to do this, that, and the other, and then they're just getting their emotions tied into it, that's what we're talking about. Because the outside should not be able to penetrate and affect what's going on in the inside if you are living in balance and harmony, and you know who you are. You see, when you know who you truly are, you know that that the outside circumstances don't affect you. It's almost like the movie The Matrix. I don't know if you've seen that movie before, but once you really do the inner work and the spiritual work, and you know who you are at a spiritual level, you understand your power and you stand in your power. You are powerful, and everything that's happening on the outside does not define you. And once you truly know that, for sure, then you're not living in fear. Then you know these outside circumstances. And the messages, the onslaught of messages that you hear from that, you don't have to accept them. Not in your life, not in your reality. Okay? And so when you're constantly worrying about finances, even when there's no immediate danger of financial ruin for you personally, and there's an anxious attachment to money, then this fear is going to cause people to avoid looking at their accounts. It's going to create people to delay payments, delay paying bills, or some kind of dread in their financial conversations. And you're going to hear this. So how do you fix this fear, right? So this fear is inevitable in the majority of people. Okay, as things shift, as we begin to see a shift, people will still be living in this fear and this anxiety. Well, the way you fix it is by shifting from fear to faith. And this shift from fear to faith has to come from a deep-rooted understanding of reality and what reality actually is, and what and who you really are. Then, and only then, are you able to stand firmly on your power. And you're able to understand that reality is malleable. And it's malleable because everything is mind. Everything is consciousness. And once you operate your life from that, then you, just like the example I said in the Matrix, you begin to see that there is no spoon. Remember that part? There is no spoon. Okay? And then you realize the power in your mind. And we're not going to get into that in this video. I know that gets into the metaphysics of things, but just stand in your power. And you know what that means when I say that. There's a part of you that knows. And so that part of you that knows, allow that part to step up and step out and to live in faith. The second is, another way that you can identify the sign of a bad relationship with money is overspending or impulsive buying. So people with a bad relationship with money often spend more than they earn. Maybe they're driven by emotional needs like stress, loneliness, or desire to feel in control. I know sometimes the online scrolling, maybe on Amazon, happens maybe if you're lonely or you're bored, right? Or you want to just decompress and do something. And so you go online and then you start shopping, and next thing you know, there's a package at your door, right? So when these things happen, it causes an impact in our finances, and it can result in credit card debt, a cycle of financial stress. So how do you fix overspending? Well, you got to create boundaries when it comes to buying. And one thing that worked for me, because I was one of them, guilty as charged, when it came to online shopping, because it's so easy. You don't even have to put your payment. The payment information is already in there. So it just makes it really easy to do what's called impulse buying. So what I ended up doing for myself was creating boundaries when buying and setting a weekly day and time for when I can go ahead and press the buy button. And so that gave me time to kind of think about it, mull over it, look at the stuff in the cart. And when I do want to decompress and look at my online cart, I'm not buying, I'm just kind of reorganizing things and seeing what makes sense and what doesn't in that cart. Because I know that in a certain set time at the end of the week, I'm giving myself permission to go ahead and buy what I feel I want or need, okay? And that quells that impulse buy, because it puts space between that emotion that you're feeling at the time and the actual purchase. And that space sometimes is all you need to be able to kind of react and realize, wait, I didn't really need that. Also, too, grocery shopping. So creating boundaries when buying also helps with grocery shopping, because that helps me create a list during the week, and I know on the weekend or towards the end of the week, I'm going to go ahead, do the grocery shopping, and that's going to be good for the whole week's worth. And I'm not going out there every other day doing groceries, possibly spending more, and not having a plan, right? So that forces me to plan out, what am I going to be cooking for the following week, right? So, okay, I'm going to be cooking, chicken or fish with vegetables, these vegetables here, this, that, and the other. And then I'll go out and I'll purchase what I need for that week, and some other things, right? And then we have a nice list. When I don't do that, then that creates an additional grocery trip. And with that additional grocery trip to buy one thing, guess what? I always end up with probably 10 more things than I needed, right? And I just went in there for one thing. So that's what I'm talking about here. So, for instance, just this week, I noticed that the kids' diapers were getting low. So what did I do? I put that on the list, kids' diapers, right? Or the coffee's getting low. Okay, I'm not going to go out and buy it today. No, I'll put it on the list. Coffee, get more coffee. So these types of little things, by creating a list and having a set date and time, that creates a boundary. That creates space between your decision that you want and need this to the actual purchase. And in that space, in that gap, you're able to really think about and logically assess if that makes sense. So creating that boundary is going to help you with impulse buying. At least it did for me, and I'm sure for many others as well. The other sign of a toxic relationship or bad relationship with money is a scarcity mindset. So believing that there's never enough money, even when financial resources are adequate. I mean, you might not be rolling in money here, but you have enough, okay? But you still have that lingering scarcity mindset, like, oh my goodness. So that's going to lead to hoarding or being frugal to the point of depriving yourself and an inability to invest in opportunities for growth. And I see this a lot, even in the financial community. In fact, I think there's a book out by, about not even having a latte. If you want a latte, for goodness sakes, go get yourself a latte, okay? And treat yourself to that. It's not like you're going to go out there every single day and get yourself a latte, but get yourself that latte, okay? And you don't want to develop a scarcity mindset because you don't want to spend an extra $1 on your coffee. That's not what we want. That's not what we're here for, okay? You get what you focus on. If you focus on the scarcity, you're going to get more of it. If you focus on growth and how can I be able to afford this, that, or the other, how can I live in abundance, then you're going to get more opportunities that will present themselves to you to how to live that way. So how do you fix a scarcity mindset? Gratitude. Gratitude for what you have. Having a daily gratitude practice where you write 5 to 10 things you're actually grateful for is training your brain for abundance. In fact, there's a science to it. It's called neuroplasticity. It says that we can change our brain, our thoughts, our behaviors, and our habits. And we can change our brain with exercises. And this exercise, like a daily gratitude journal, begins to train the brain like a muscle to focus on abundance. Because this monkey mind is going to start thinking, oh my goodness, the sky is falling, scarcity, scarcity. And you're doing, no. Let's write in this journal at least 10 things that we're grateful for. I'm grateful I got up this morning. I am grateful for my husband and provider. I am grateful for my children. They bring joy to my life. I'm grateful for this juice, this bottle of water that I'm drinking. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I am grateful for the light that I'm able to work in. I'm grateful for the roads. I am grateful for the fresh air that I get to breathe. These basic things. Do you see how now you see this energy lifting? There's an abundance there within my tone. And if you get to the point where you just kind of think about and just mull over all the things you're grateful for, you can't help to get emotional. And I've had sessions, I still do daily gratitude, and I will always do daily gratitude because that's training my brain to think in abundance. And gratitude is the frequency and vibration of wealth. The reason why the wealthy continue to get wealthier is because they continue to focus on abundance. And the more they focus on it, the more it shows up in their life. And the more it shows up in their life, it continues to support that belief. And the reason why the poor people get poorer, why? Because they focus on poverty. They focus on scarcity. And you get what you focus on. So they continue to manifest that in their life. You see, everything is consciousness. Everything is mind. So we have to work with the material of reality. And that material is mind. Doesn't matter what the outside circumstances is showing you right now, okay? Because you could change that. It's malleable. Your reality is malleable. Your brain is malleable. So begin to train it like a muscle. Begin to see it as a muscle that has to be trained for what you want it to produce in your life. Okay, the other sign of a toxic relationship with money is inconsistent or poor money habits. And I want to focus here on the word inconsistent, because when we think about weight, for instance, let's say you want to lose 20 pounds or want to release 20 pounds, and you are just really gung-ho about it, and you go to the gym and you work out for like a whole hour. Oof. That felt so good. And then you go a whole month without working out. Well, what good did that do? Not very good, did it? So the same thing too with your finances. If you spend a whole hour getting that budget perfect, looking absolutely beautiful, but then you spend a whole month not even tracking your money situation, don't even look at it, it's like you set it and forget it. Well, guess what's going to happen? It's going to run amok, especially if you're not in a healthy place right now. So we want to focus on consistency in our habits instead of an inconsistent or poor money habits. See, people with a negative relationship to money struggle with budgeting, saving, and investing because they avoid managing their finances on a consistent basis, or looking at it for that matter. And that results in missed payments, debt accumulation, or poor financial planning. So how do you fix this inconsistent habit? Well, by having a weekly or a monthly or every other week, define what makes sense for you, what cadence makes sense for you, but have a money date with yourself. Set a date and time every week, every other week, or every month. Set that date and time, put it on the calendar, okay? And don't push it off. This is a date with yourself. Make it an event. Light candles if that makes if that lights you up. Well, make it nice. This is for you. So maybe even get an accountability partner like a friend or a spouse that also wants to improve their finances. Work together. And sometimes, I get it. Sometimes our spouses might not be on the same page. Sometimes when it comes to those things, if they're not, don't let that stop you. Start. That might be the example they need to gain momentum and also work with you at some point together on the family budget. So during this money date, though, spend at the very least 20 minutes, reviewing your finances, and keep that date with yourself. Sometimes we say, oh, we don't have time. Okay, well, if that's an excuse for you, if that continues to show up that you don't have time, make it 10 minutes. But the point is, if you give yourself 10 minutes every week and you show up, you're training your brain that this is a good thing and it doesn't take a lot of time. And then slowly you can increase it, okay? So start reframing your money management as a form of self-care. The other sign that we have a toxic or bad relationship with money is avoidance and denial. So ignoring our financial problems in the hopes that they're going to disappear, or refusing to address the issues like debt or lack of savings, it's a common sign. So avoiding financial planning or facing our financial reality can deepen financial stress because, it's like we're stuffing it, and it doesn't mean that it's going to go away. So how do we fix it? Well, a lot of times we just need to admit that we need help. Ask for help. You have not because you ask not. So get a coach or a financial advisor to help you with this thing. There's a solution. Sometimes we need to be brave enough to get help to get our life in order. If you've been trying to do this on your own and you realize it's just like a do-it-yourselfer. If you have a house, you know what I'm talking about. So sometimes we feel like, I could do that. I could do that by myself. We watch a few YouTube videos and we say, okay, I got it. I could fix this, this plumbing issue, right? Or this toilet issue or whatever comes up. And then you find yourself right in the middle of it right? You go to your local shop, maybe Home Depot, you buy the tools they say, and then you're in the middle of it and you realize, there's no way this is going to get fixed. And then you end up with a mess, a lot more money than you wanted to spend and a lot more time than you should have spent. And what do you end up doing? You end up calling a plumber anyway, right? So call the plumber, okay? Get help and get that part of your life in order. And if you find this interesting and would like to learn more, click on the link for my Money Mastery program. It's a course I created to help you address these very issues by reshaping your relationship with money, building a healthier financial habits, and transforming limiting beliefs into empowering ones. I'll see you on the next one.